I'm a firm believer in always knowing the basics about anything in life. The basics, right? I don't think we're ever too advanced for the basics. It's always good to go back and touch upon the basics of things. And what I'm talking about in this video, the basics of the truth community, Aleister Crowley. If you don't know who Aleister Crowley is and his influence, you need to research about him to discover just how satanic he was and his influence on the biblical world. He is very, very, very influential to people to this day. He has many books, and they deal with Freemasonry, the occult, black magic, murder, pedophilia, on and on and on. Like, he called himself the Beast 666. He was a very satanic person just by this one picture alone. The arms up like this, I'm not sure exactly what it represents, but it's a sign and symbol. It is. Like, right? These people, they do signs, symbols, and agendas all the time, sometimes hidden in plain sight. If you know what the hands like this represents, you can let me know in the comments. So he's dressed up in his garb, and he's got the eye of Horus, the eye in the triangle, eye in the pyramid, capstone, illuminated, right? The eye of Horus, which is very satanic. It's the eye of Satan. He's got a book here. It's a pentagram in a circle. So we're off to a pretty bad start for this guy. And there's some people claim that on his deathbed, when he was dying, he quoted, "I am perplexed," because he was definitely on his way to hell. Again, God knows his heart, but like, he was so satanic, he was so influential to people, and we'll get into that. Many times, most people know, and I've mentioned, that Freemasons, they love ancient Egypt. He's dressed up with leopard print, which has some metaphor to it, which has symbolism to it. And he's dressed up as like an Egyptian pharaoh, right? Egypt and God in the Bible, especially the Old Testament, did not get along. Egypt is the birth of the mystery schools, mystery religion. Like, their whole culture is antichrist. If you don't believe me, please do some research about that and read the Bible. So Aleister Crowley, the Freemason, and he's a part of other organizations as well, but Freemasonry is definitely there, and he's dressed up like an old Egyptian, like whatever you want to say. He's dressed up in his old Egyptian garb with the mystery schools, the mystery religions, satanic blasphemy, black magic, garbage. The New Age is also into that. Here's Aleister Crowley dressed up like a weirdo, and he's doing the vow of silence, keeping the secret of the biblical world about fame, fortune, and success, about Freemasonry and other things. Here is a quote from Aleister Crowley that says, "A white male child of perfect innocence and intelligence makes the most suitable victim." This guy still has books that are published today, and people still buy them. Are people insane? A white male child of perfect innocence and intelligence makes the most suitable victim? So for what? For pedophilia and rape and for murder and sacrifice? Like, this is absolutely insane that the world goes, "Oh yeah." Like, and again, doing this research, a lot of people quote from him. A lot of people have books from him. A lot of people have his picture or whatever on shirts and on other things. It's insane. And this is talking about yoga. So for people that are like, yoga and meditation are A-okay, and I'm not telling the truth, Aleister Crowley says about yoga, "The two seem at first glance to be opposed. But when you have advanced a little in both, you find that concentration learned in yoga is of immense use in attaining the mental powers necessary in magic." That's black magic, that is witchcraft. And he says, on the other hand, the discipline of magic is of the greatest service in yoga. Yoga moms out there that have their yoga pants and go like, I'm just stretching, I'm just doing exercise. No, you're not. Exercise is exercise. Stretching is stretching. Yoga is something completely different. Yoga means yoked with Brahma, that's the Hindu creator deity, which is most likely a demon or principality or doesn't exist at all. And Aleister Crowley is telling you about magic and yoga being yoked together. Aleister Crowley, 8 lectures on yoga. Aleister Crowley, master theory on yoga, and it's got the Freemason compass. Is everyone putting the pieces of the puzzle together here? Again, a lot of people, like, yoga is very trendy. The people that do that probably haven't read the Bible and are not a Christian. And again, there's such a thing. Well, there's not such a thing, but people want to believe there's such a thing as Christian yoga, in quotes. That does not exist. Oh, I'm a Christian Satanist. Aleister Crowley summoned an alien, and aliens are demons and fallen angels. This one is called Lam, Lam, and Aleister Crowley drew a picture of what he summoned, and can we see? It looks like an alien gray, and the alien grays are demons and fallen angels. He summoned a demon. And again, rock and roll, they sold their souls for rock and roll. That is a true statement. Jimmy Page, the guitarist from Led Zeppelin, if you play, again, Stairway to Heaven, I don't need you, Jesus Christ. I can build a stairway to heaven, Tower of Babel, all that kind of garbage. Jimmy Page, who with his band wrote Stairway to Heaven, and if you play it backwards, there's a lot of satanic messages in that, and that's not nonsense. I'm not saying every song done by these people is satanic backmasking, but that does exist. Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin bought Aleister Crowley's home. Why did he do that? On the Beatles, Rolling Stone, I think, calls the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band the most famous or the best album of all time. The Beatles are very overrated. The Beatles were satanic Freemasons, believe it or not. John Lennon, he wrote a song, said, "Imagine there's no heaven." And he talked about being bigger than Jesus Christ, more popular than Jesus Christ. On the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's, there's Aleister Crowley. And this is noted to be, these are people of influence in their lives, people they looked up to. Can you see the satanic influence in this world? Can you see that yoga is satanic? And I would say even meditation. I know there's people that say, what are you talking about? Meditation's fine. We should meditate on God's word, the Holy Bible, and what he says in there. We should not meditate to become a channel for something, or to become a conduit for something, or to empty our brain of all thoughts so we can be possessed by something. That's what that is doing. Aleister Crowley is very influential. He was very influential, and he still is to this day. Brothers and sisters, everyone else, again, this is like basic truther stuff, knowing who Aleister Crowley is and his influence on the world. This is basic stuff, but it's always good to retouch on the basics because, that's a big part of life. Knowing the basics. No one's ever too good for the basics. Whether it's playing guitar, whether it's researching, whether it's anything in life, anything you do, your hobbies, you should know the basics. You should be able to explain what the basics are, and we should always go back and touch on the basics. So again, in the truth community, knowing who Aleister Crowley is and his influence on the world, that he was a Freemason and other things. He was an occultist. He was a Satanist. He sacrificed children. He was a pedophile. He was a lot of things that are just absolutely horrible. And people are like, oh, but, I'll read his books and I'll support him. And God knows his heart, but I can just imagine where he is right now. Brothers and sisters, everyone else, God bless you.